Hello. Today I just wanted to do a quick video. I think a little more properly explaining what I've been doing to find seeds recently. So first of all, I want to show something that I haven't quite yet shown yet. Um, Oreo asked me for if it was possible for a seed to have both a mineshaft or an infinite mineshaft, for which there's only two possible seeds, which are these two, and have a quadwitch hut somewhere. And the answer to that question is no. As you can see, if I just compile and run this, no results. So how exactly does this work? The seed that is used for determining if a quadwitch hut is going to be generated is created based upon the position of the region that the quadwitch hut is meant to be generated in. Now, one thing to consider is that this doesn't vary much. If you have a region or a region seed which is going to generate the top left or the bottom right or whatever hut of a quadwitch hut, it's always going to work, independent of the world you're in. You just need to make sure that that region seed works out. And this is a list of all possible region seeds, so that the difference in between them, or so that the witch hut would be at the coordinate at the region 0, 0. So if yeah, and these aren't quite proper seeds. Minecraft adds, I think, 100,000 something to the actual seed before using it, but that doesn't really matter. So with just some modifications, you could place a quadwitch hut wherever you wanted. You'd just have to check if the biomes match, but that's always easily possible with just some Java application, which I also have, but that's not really what's important now. And to now figure out if, for example, you have two quadwitch huts in the world, you need to basically figure out if one permutation of two different seeds in this list is has some distance in between that is small enough so that the product of the values added per x and per x region and per z region times the difference in regions is going to get you another one of the seeds in this list. So that's the other seed, right? And that's something that I do in this bit of code here. These are just defines. So basically what I do, I grab all the seeds from the seed file, and then I loop through them. I loop through them this many times, or I loop this many times, because this is how many different combinations there are. That's just, you know, the formula for the binomial coefficient, I assume. So that's just the formula used in a way where it's always choose 2. Yeah. This is basically just which is either equal to let me not mess this up. No, 2 factorial times length minus 2 factorial, and that all in brackets too. Right, you know the formula. And if you do some algebra, that turns out to be, well, what I left down here. So yeah. Then I have some other values, which are x and y, and these are looping through the list and getting reset whenever needed, so that I'm actually getting all combinations. This took me a while to figure out, but yeah, it works, trust me. This is not really of much importance. Here I'm just printing out a value for progress I've made, so yeah. And this is the main part here. This is taking the difference between two possible seeds that may be within range. And then these numbers are a little special. They are the so-called linear combination for these two values. These are the two multipliers that are applied to the x and z values in the Minecraft code. And if I actually take these, okay, so if I say u times u plus u times u, this equals the greatest common divisor of these two numbers. That just so happens to be 1. That the GCD of these two numbers is 1 is entirely coincidental, and there is nothing interesting about this whatsoever. So this means that if I just take these values here, or take these values here and multiply them by some number, this number here in the at the end is also going to be multiplied by that number. So here, x times x times x, that's 1 cancels out, so this is going to be x. So this is going to find me some number, some combination of these numbers, which is going to give me x, which is in this case the difference between the two seeds, as you can see here, because I'm multiplying it by the difference, right? And now this may not exactly be the most optimal solution. In fact, it's normally really crappy because it's really far away from spawn usually. I mean, you can see my solutions are int 128s. Longs weren't even long enough. These numbers are larger than 64-bit integers. That's like what? 128 trillion, 128 quadrillion, somewhere within the quintillions, or more than quintillions. Quintillions is how much long can roughly store. And these I now need to reduce by some value. And this value is k. Because by applying these formulas, I can figure out every other solution for the specific difference value, right? And to calculate k now, what I do is take the sum of the two solutions and divide it by this value. And this value is just the difference between these two values, right? And by doing that, I figure out what's the most optimal k to use to figure out the minimal sum of these two values, right? And then I get the best possible solution in my case. This value here is basically which is the amount of regions that there are in a Minecraft world available to you, right? So this checks, okay, is this even within the Minecraft world? And if it is, it does actually print it out, but if it isn't, it doesn't print it out. The thing is that none of these values are within the Minecraft world. They're all larger or smaller. So there exists no two seeds such that they can be in one Minecraft world together which is kind of sad. So yeah, but there's another implication of this, and well, not really implication, but basically it's really easy to check any seat that you want. So for example here, I tried the Mineshaft seats, and these are the two Mineshaft seats. It's like just a little bit of lazy code for figuring out what the seats are. And for each of those, I'm looping through the other seats, getting the difference, and computing if they are in the Minecraft world, which, unsurprisingly, they aren't. Because, in fact, do I still have the calculations up? No, I don't. Whatever. So, in fact, it's really, really unlikely for a Minecraft world to have such a seat anywhere. The reason for that being that very easily the RNG just overflows. So yeah. Yeah. I guess that's really all that had to be said. Oh yeah. By the way, the RNG overflows at like here. These are the values added. Time 2 to the 48. Let me just put that into Google. Which is just equal to 823. This basically means that per world they are only 823 cubed seeds that actually exists. So let me see what that's like. Which is only equal to 1,875, which is not much really in the larger context, considering that the 107,000 woodshot seeds that exists with their this many permutations of the right order. So let me check how many those are even. 107,000. Sorry if I'm doing calculations on there. So that's just that many, which is really not that many, considering that you need to divide it by 2 to the 48. So I mean, 1 in 50,000 seeds has this feature. So, well, there's a chance of 1 in 50,000 of this feature existing in that world. So, yeah. Or in all worlds, and that's pretty poor, really. So yeah, kind of sad, but this is how it works. If anyone wants to figure out if they got lucky and the very slim chance of finding a proper seed worked out for them, then go ahead and try this, but otherwise, yeah, you're out of luck. So yeah. Bye.